Hey guys, today we're going to be doing the acid rain experiment. I will first show you what materials will be needed for this. To start, you're going to need a purple cabbage or a red cabbage. I've cut one into quarters already. You're not going to need a huge amount of this, so this is fine. Note that green cabbage will not work for this experiment. You need a red or purple cabbage. You're going to need a cheese grater or food processor in order to shred this cabbage. 2 large bowls, 4 glasses and 4 spoons, and some sort of labeling system for these spoons and glasses. You will also need an eyedropper or a pipette of some sort. I work in a lab, so I do have access to things like this. Any sort of eyedropper will work perfectly. You're going to be using very small amounts of vinegar for this lab. You will need white vinegar. Not a huge bottle. Again, we're going to be using small amounts of this. You'll need baking soda. Again, small amounts. 1 tablespoon and 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoons. And then you'll need a pot for boiling water. I'm going to go ahead and get some water boiling and then meet you back here. Okay, so while our water is boiling, I'm going to grate this cabbage. Don't grate your fingers, obviously. Like I said, if you have a food processor and you're more comfortable with that, go ahead and go that route. This is going to be messy, so. Okay, so I managed to rack up a pretty good mess here. I've got my workstation cleaned up, and now I'm going to take the boiling water and just cover the cabbage that we've grated. Just enough to cover it. You can see it turning purple already. I'm going to use one of these guys to stir, and then I'll be rinsing this spoon. This is going to have to sit for about half an hour. You're going to want this at room temperature before we use it. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and label our vessels. So I've got our labels going. I went ahead and just did buffered lake, buffered control, and unbuffered control. And then I did a similar labeling system with the spoons so that I know which is which. And you're going to want to label your jars so that you don't get anything mixed up. This will be important later, as you'll see. Buffered lake, buffered control, unbuffered control. And now we'll just wait for our cabbage juice indicator to come to room temperature. Okay, so one thing I failed to mention for this, you are also going to need a colander or a strainer of some sort so that you can strain this cabbage juice. So I'm just going to place this here, and then once this comes to room temp, I'll go ahead and strain it through this. If you don't have one of these, any kind of cheesecloth, even a dish towel or something would probably work for this. Just be careful and make sure that you don't try to do it while it's boiling. That took about 40 minutes for this to come to room temperature, and now we've got workable solution here. So now we're going to strain this. See if I can do this without making a huge mess. And maybe just lightly push down on the cabbage to get all of the juices out. This is our indicator solution. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take 1 tablespoon of this beautiful purple indicator solution, and we're going to place 1 teaspoon in each of these glasses. You can note the color of this, but we will have one of these that won't be changed. and that will be the unbuffered control, which is this guy. So this will stay this color. That's all you're going to need as far as the indicator solution. So you can put this to the side. Now what we're going to do is take 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and we're going to add this baking soda to the buffered lake solution and the buffered control solution only. These guys are not going to get any baking soda in them. So again, 1/4 teaspoon into the buffered solutions. And stir these. You see an immediate color change. Went from a purple to a darker blue or violet. You might want to use smaller glasses for this. Seems a little shallow to me. Okay, so at this point you're going to want to note the color of the buffered lake water and the unbuffered lake water. As you can see there, and I'll try to give you a close-up shot of that. So we will start, we're only going to be adding the vinegar to 2 of these. These controls are going to stay the same so that we can note our colors. We're going to be adding our acid to our buffered and unbuffered lake water. So, for ease, I'm going to move this stuff over here. We're going to start out with 3 drops each. And note any color change if you see it. Try to keep these closer together so you can see the differences in the colors. And now we'll go to 6 drops each. Again, note the color changes on your data tables as we are doing this. Now we'll go to 9 drops. You can see a definite color change. Now we'll go to 12 drops. This seems easier to me for such a small amount to just swirl the glass around. Hopefully you guys can see these colors. Now we will be going to 15 drops. And I am counting these drops as I go because I don't want to get too many or too few drops in here. You can see a super pretty color change here. I moved these a little bit so that you guys could see them a little bit better. We are now at 18 drops. Again, note the color change on your data table for 18 drops. And then we will move on to 21 drops. I think I might have gotten 22 in that unbuffered. This shouldn't be too bad. Hopefully you guys can see these color changes and the differences in color. And then for our last addition, we will do 24 drops. and 24. Okay. So we've completed our addition of our acid rain. And at this point, you're going to want to record the colors that you see at this point. And I'll give you guys a screenshot at the end of this. That way you can really see the colors and the color changes. Here are the completed solutions. We've got our buffered lake water, our unbuffered lake water, buffered control, and unbuffered control. So go ahead and fill your data tables out with these final colors, and good luck on your lab. Thanks for watching.